welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Nonprofit Show. We're super excited because we had one of our top 5 favorite guests of 2024. We wrangled him back in to another episode of the Nonprofit Show. Hey, Adam Lueking, welcome back.
Well, great to be back, Julia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just excited to be here. Thank you again.
Adam, really, we talk to a lot of people, right? Every day. I mean, we've done nearly 1,200 episodes of the Nonprofit Show. All different types of folks from all over the world doing all different things. And you were one of our most, I would say, jaw-dropping guests. And you talked a lot about impact and measurements and data in a way that we hadn't really heard it before. And I know on that episode, my co-host Wendy Adams and there were times when we were just like, we couldn't speak because we were trying to process what you said and trying to come back with some clarification. And so I just got to say to anybody out there that didn't see that episode, go back and watch that episode. This is the direction that our sector is moving in. And if you don't understand how to get there and row in that direction, Adam, I got to say, I think you're missing out.
Well, I got to say, it was one of my top experiences of the year as well. And
Wow.
excited to be back. You run a great show. You got a great program. And hopefully I can move up to number one from top 5 to number 1 with this episode.
Oh my God. Now the pressure's on. The pressure's on. Well, we're going to be talking about something really fun and really interesting that you and your team are doing. And that's the Social Sector Hero Award. I really wanted to get you back on to talk about this and to kind of see where we could go from here and how we can really support this concept of measuring our impact. And so I'm really excited to have you on. We have these amazing partnerships, and they include Bloomerang, American Nonprofit Academy, Staffing Boutique, Nonprofit Thought Leader, Fundraisers Friday, our new episodes on Friday, just dedicated to fundraisers, Your Part-Time Controller, Third Sector Company, and then Clear Impact, where we have Adam coming to us from. Again, I'm Julia C. Patrick, CEO of the American Nonprofit Academy. I have this amazing co-host panel from across the country. They work in all different facets of the nonprofit sector, and they are rock stars. But probably not, I don't know, man. Adam Lueking, you're CEO of Clear Impact. You're a rock star, my friend.
I don't know about that, but I do know that if anybody can make the concept of measuring impact in the nonprofit and public sector, I can make it sound exciting. So I'll do my best with you today.
Well, you do a great job. And again, we have a lot to learn from you. But let's back the bus up just a little bit and have you explain what Clear Impact does so that we can kind of get a framework for this conversation.
Yeah, so Clear Impact supports public sector, government, and ultimately philanthropic organizations to create measurable impact. We've been in business for 18 years. We've got clients in all 50 states, 8 countries. And really what it's about is ultimately making measurable improvements and improving quality of life for the people and communities we serve.
Mm-hmm. So I got to ask this question, Adam. Are you working with folks that understand how to measure and what to measure? Or are you starting, at a lower level trying to communicate, hey, this is what you should be measuring? Because you're serving two masters here, the, if you will, the funders or the grantors, and then the social sector. Like how does that look?
Yeah, so ultimately, funders are looking for ways to figure out are they funding the right things, and are there organizations they funding doing it well?
Mhm.
And when we first started the business 18 years ago, we had to convince them that this is important. Now I feel like the community understands this is important. It's now how do we do it? And so understanding basic principles around not only aligning with a common purpose, but starting to align your partners to create measurable change. Um, and then ultimately giving them simple tools to be able to get started, because organizations and really what it comes down to is people, right? So
Mhm. Right.
how do we manage change? And for organizations that have never measured before, how do they start to do it in a way that makes sense, is easy, doesn't complicate the work, but actually adds value to it,
Mhm.
we're really in the business of trying to do.
Yeah. Adam, it's to me, it's just such a mindset shift because for so long in the nonprofit sector, and I would argue it's still the case today, folks are like, it's a value proposition. This is the right thing to do. We're on the side of good. We're champions of the underdog or the poor or the disenfranchised, whatever you want to, however you want to label it. And there's somewhat of a hesitancy to boil it down to measurement when you're waving the flag of something that's more morally based. Does that make sense, or does that ring
Yeah, I
true?
mean, people who work in nonprofits are passionate about what they do. They decided to
Yeah.
go into whatever it is that they care about most because they feel like it's something they need to do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we need to help people bring precision to their
Hmm.
passion.
Hmm.
And the only way to bring precision to your passion is through measurement. And
Hmm.
not only just measuring, but actually using that data in a way that helps them get better at what they do. And it becomes not extra work, but it becomes the work. And from my experience.
Okay, precision to your passion. I thought that you couldn't get any better than the last episode, but this is like super cool. I'm going to totally borrow that.
And
Precision.
I borrowed it from someone else. So,
The truth comes out.
yeah,
Okay, we'll attribute it to you and somebody you know. But
I'm
yeah.
going to attribute it back to Mark Friedman, who wrote the book Trying Hard is Not Good Enough. He's the
Okay.
godfather of results-based accountability. It's the framework from which we operate, and it's the basis for which our software has been built. We built our products specifically for the public sector and for nonprofits, and
Mhm.
for those that we work with, they see that come through on a day-to-day basis.
Love it. Well, let's talk about the social sector hero of the year. Really an exciting opportunity for folks working hard to fulfill, a mission, a brand promise, all of that. Talk to us about this award and what it means to you and your team, and kind of what it is you're looking for.
Yeah, so Social Sector Hero of the Year award stems from my book, Social Sector Hero: How Government and Philanthropy Can Fund for Impact.
Mhm.
Wrote the book about 2 years ago. Have been on a journey since then to help promote it. I've been traveling the world. I was in Denmark last month. I'm going to be in New Zealand in 2 weeks, sharing what I believe to be 8 core concepts for improving performance reporting.
Wow.
And from that, my team and I figured out how do we encourage people to just be engaged with these concepts.
Hmm.
And to do that, we wanted to create an award. And the award is going to be for an organization that buys into at least one of the 8 principles. You don't need to be one of our clients. You don't need to be in the United States. You just need to
Oh.
have you just need to have a commitment to improving lives. And with that, um, we encourage people to download the book for free. You can
Mhm.
do that at socialsectorhero.com, and you can download the book for free. But frankly, you don't even necessarily need to read the book. If you understand these 8 core concepts, you can hey, I'm already doing that, and I do it very well, and here's why, and here's the progress we're making. Anyone can nominate themselves and apply, or they can nominate a partner or a colleague in their community who they think live these values and live these concepts. And with that, we're offering what would be considered a $20,000 plus award. Part of that's a $5,000 cash prize, so you can
Mhm.
use that whatever you want.
Great.
You also get $9,000 worth of software from us for a year. Uh,
Great.
Both our scorecard product, which helps you demonstrate your impact, do better planning, share it publicly via your website, whatever you want to do with it. And then ultimately, we believe in building capacity of leaders. And so we're offering 3, what we call the results-based accountability professional certifications. And it's a way for folks to really start to learn some of these basic concepts. And the power and the beauty of that program is that not only are you learning the concepts, you're taking quizzes, you finish a test, you apply these concepts in what we call um, a turn the curve plan, and then
Mhm.
and also be able to present these concepts back to us in 30 minutes or less.
Wow. So not only learn, but be able to articulate and communicate back what the process is.
Well, what we're trying to do is build champions, people who can articulate these concepts to others in their organization, be a champion within their organization who can live these things, be focused on what matters most, and create plans and be able to have dialogue about, maybe I don't have this right. Help join me in a dialogue about how we figure out how to improve these trends that we're trying to focus on, either for our community, population level results, or program performance for your organization.
I'm loving this. Well, let's dig down a little deeper. From your book, you've got 8 core strategies. Can you talk to us about what those are and what we should be looking at?
Absolutely. So the book itself has the 8 core strategies, or, defined by chapters. And with that, we also have 2 case studies of clients of ours that have lived these values and created measurable change.
Wow.
And so with that, hopefully, you as organizations, you can see yourselves as being able to achieve these things yourselves, but also inspire others within your organization and within your community to do the same. And so the first of these core strategies is to align with a common purpose. And what I mean by that is to identify a population level result, which is a quality of life condition of well-being, like all children are in school ready to learn, all people in our community are healthy, all families are economically self-sufficient, we have a clean environment, whatever it may be, and then ultimately a way of measuring that, which we call an indicator. And so we want, within communities, people to align and understand what that common purpose is, and particularly for funders, why are we funding? What are we trying to achieve in doing that? So that's number one. Number two is to assure alignment with your partners. And so ensuring alignment with your partners, ultimately picking performance measures which speak to your role and contribution from where you sit. And then from there, the third is less is, remember, less is more. I mean, a lot of folks get scared because they think that the funder is going to say, we want you to measure 1 million things.
Right.
No, I say that's wrong. We need to focus on the 3 to 5 most important things that speak to the impact you want to achieve. Is anyone better off from your program? And think about, what are the changes in attitudes, behaviors, skills, knowledge, or circumstance that you're helping to make happen. We also want to disaggregate the data. That's number 4. And people focus on race. Oftentimes they focus on gender, oftentimes, and trying to understand gaps, but also socioeconomic status, disability. There are lots of different ways you can look at disaggregating data. But if you're not disaggregating your data, you can mask disparities, which are dragging down, your community or people you serve as a whole. We also want to be consistent and flexible. That's number 5. And the best way I can explain that is, I have 4 kids, right? And they're all different.
Yeah.
All different. I have a really shy kid, may need some different supports. I have a really outgoing kid, maybe you need to rein it in a little bit. I got one who's good at sports, but maybe not good in schools. But at the end of the day, we got to focus on being consistent. And consistent for my family is that I want them all to be happy, healthy, and thriving, right? But at the same time, I need to focus on how they're different and manage that. And the same goes for nonprofits and funding nonprofits. You want to be consistent and having, say, 3 to 5, a couple measures which are consistent across them, but also give them the flexibility to really talk about their uniqueness and how they're, how they're different, how they're serving, and how, ultimately why their programs may be a little different from others. We also, number 6, never want to report on the story without the data. So,
right.
What you want to do is make sure, or the data without the story. I'm sorry. If you're just asking nonprofits to report on data without any context, it's meaningless. Yeah. Absolutely meaningless and wasting their time. So ask them, okay, what is the story behind this? What are the positive and negative factors for why their trends are trending up or down? I think that's ultimately very important. We also want to make sure that you use data for meaningful dialogue. If you're not actually having a conversation, if you're a funder with a nonprofit, or if you're a manager with your people you work with, not asking for them for their background and why things are going, and actually have a conversation with them. What's the story behind this? Who are the partners you need? What works? What's the evidence? What's working in another community or another nonprofit that you can bring to this one? You're missing a whole lot behind that. And then lastly, I really encourage organizations to share their performance reports publicly, because if they're sharing their performance reports publicly, they're having transparency, and ultimately transparency creates trust.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, if you're a nonprofit looking to ways to raise money, or you're looking for new funders, if I'm a funder and I see that you're transparent and I can trust you, I'm more likely to fund you. And I think that's put those performance reports on your website. We've got many clients to do that as well.
You know, I'm so fascinated by so many things that you said, and I want to make sure, I almost like want to have you back and go episode by episode on each of these 8 core strategies, because I think there's 30 minutes of excellent education and knowledge in just each one of these core strategies that you mentioned. But that's for another day. But
I will say this: there's a publication actually in Denmark who actually did a article on each one of the chapters called Impact Insider that you might want to check out. But
yeah,
I agree. Would love to come back anytime. I'm going to be back next month with you.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because I think that you know, we in the nonprofit sector, we're so plagued by, oh, this is one more thing I have to do in order now to play the game. And I find it fascinating that you link the data and the metrics and the business of data with the communications, the emotions, the narrative, whatever words you want to use. You seem to be blending these two concepts, and maybe that's why I've been so fascinated by talking with you, because it doesn't seem to me that we see that a lot. We see one or the other, you know, and it's like, you got to tell a good story. You got to tell a good story. You got to make them cry, you know, all of that old school thinking, and that we're not marrying the knowledge that data gives us. And so I'm fascinated by this. I really am.
Well, people have emotions, right? And people connect to stories, which is why you want to connect your story behind the data to the data itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, oftentimes what I've experienced in my career, and I worked in nonprofits, I've worked in the public sector. When I worked in a nonprofit, they want me to submit a report and want a bunch of pictures with kids and all that kind of stuff. That's all fair and well, but at the end of the day, are those kids actually doing better because of your service? And if you can't articulate that, you're failing not only the funder, but you're failing the people you serve. And I 100% believe that with my whole heart, and that's why I do what I do.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that you pointed out the first time we had you on, and that is we do so much work and structural, we take a structural approach that serves our funders and not always our clients, because we're going after the money. We're chasing that coin, versus saying, okay, stepping back, and it's tough. It's the tough truth to stop and say, how is this impacting our clients?
No, I completely agree. At the end of the day, we all have bills to pay, right? And we all want to grow, and so we'll do what we can to do that. But if we can step back for a minute and say, hey, the best way to do that is to be able to showcase how we are impacting the lives of the people we serve. And from my perspective with data, you're doing the work.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And it's I don't know why, Adam, it's in so many ways it's kind of like a new concept. It shouldn't be a new concept, but this isn't a conversation that we're having enough across the sector. And I've got to believe, for those organizations, and I'd love to get your feedback on this, that have embraced this, that have identified it, and then are working it, they're marrying the narrative with data, they've got to be doing so much better.
Yeah, you would think. And I'm going to make a quick plug too. So one of the things that anyone on the show and anyone in the world, frankly, can do, and people do this every day, is sign up for a free trial of our scorecard product. It's forever. You get up to 10 measures for free that you can not only track your data, but you can also, create that narrative. What's the story behind your data? Who are the partners? What works? What's your action plan? And ultimately, you can start that journey with little to no resources, and ultimately scale into it as you get your sea legs a little bit and figure out, ultimately what's the bigger vision for what you want to achieve.
Yeah. I appreciate what you said in the very beginning of this episode, and that was, look at three things you want to track. You don't have to track everything, but you need to do three things at least and get it right and figure it out. And you just use that great phrase, get your sea legs, really try and figure out how it's going to work. And I think that makes it not so overwhelming, because I think that's one of the issues too for a lot of folks in the sector. They're burdened by so much and not having enough resources and everything else that they're dealing with. And then it just seems like one more thing they have to add that they don't know about, right? They're not trained to do.
No, they're not. And really what it comes down to is it's fairly simple in a way. There's three types of performance measures. How much you do,
Mm-hmm.
which is number of programs you run, number of people you served.
Mm-hmm.
That's the least important measure, but it's a good one.
Right.
The second is how well do you do it, and so those are efficiency measures, attendance rates, percentage of your staff with a degree, whatever it might be, cost to person you serve ratio.
Mm-hmm.
But lastly, and most importantly, is anyone better off? And that's the reason why people get out of bed in the morning.
Right.
Changes in attitudes, behaviors, skills, knowledge, circumstance. And if you can maybe have one measure in each of those buckets, great. But I would say when you're getting started, no more than 5.
Wow.
And really focus on what matters most. And I would say the most important and what you'd be focused on is anyone better off from your service.
Right.
And go from there. And I think that's what inspires people. And once again, brings you back to bringing precision to your passion.
Right. I love it. I think that's like crazy wise. I really, really do. Well, we don't have much time left, and I want to make sure that we spend the remaining time that we have about getting nominated and in you know, getting involved in this award, because it's a really great opportunity for so many nonprofits. And I think it's a really cool thing to be talking about. So, walk us through the nomination process. You kind of touched on it when we first got started,
Yep.
but how does this actually work?
All right. So we opened the nomination process that started about 2 weeks ago. We're going to run it through the end of the year, and actually a week after, to give people time after the holidays.
Yeah.
But you can nominate, once again, a partner in your community who you think lives one of the 8 core concepts or core strategies well. You can also apply for yourself. And we've already had, I don't know, probably 20, 30 different groups apply. We're excited about them. We're proud of them. We think they're doing great work. But at the end of the day, we want the world. We want everyone thinking about how do we improve people's lives and create measurable impact for what we do. And so you can do that at socialsectorhero.com. You can download the book for free. But at the same time, if you think that you already align with these very simple core strategies, nominate yourself, nominate a colleague. It's just a couple of questions. It's 4 or 5 questions. So it's not burdensome. And we want to recognize leaders and organizations that really are committed to making change.
I love it. So socialsectorhero.com, or as we have on the screen, if you're a viewer, clearimpact.com, and you can learn more.
Clearimpact.com works as well. One of the links on our top navigation is to the book as well. So you can easily get there either way.
Great.
We try to make it simple for folks who are just focused on the book to get to the book. But go into our website. You'll also learn more about what we do as an organization and how we can support you as part of that process.
I love it. Tell me about how you're going to announce this and when this will be revealed. The winner will be revealed.
Yeah. So we're after the nomination process, January 8th ends. We will review it as a team. We also got some outsiders who are going to support as reviewers.
Good.
And we will likely announce within 2 weeks after that.
Wow.
And we'll see what happens.
Okay, so can I put your feet to the fire and get you to commit to come back in February with that winner on the
Oh,
nonprofit show?
well, I'm going to come back next month once again, and I'm going to hopefully encourage people to want to apply. But yes, we'll announce. Actually, you know what, Julia, we will announce the winner on your show. How about that?
Holy moly, you just made my day.
Let's do
Okay,
that.
great. Let's
Let's
do
do
it, my
that,
friend.
and we'll invite that winner onto the show to talk about how they're going to use their winning package.
Okay, great day for me. Yeah, this is super cool. I'm like thrilled, Adam. Absolutely. Because, it's one thing to hear from you about these concepts and your leadership and your encouragement, but it's another thing to learn from, an actual nonprofit, somebody leading a mission, and to find out like what it is that's worked for them. So yeah, awesome. I'm
What they're
like,
doing, why they're doing it, how they plan to use what they win, all that would be great.
awesome. Okay, my friend, you heard it here on the Nonprofit Show. We're gonna do the big reveal in February. We'll figure out a date and get that on the books. And awesome. That's really, really amazing. Well, Adam, it's really been fun to have you back on the Nonprofit Show. Adam Lueking, CEO of Clear Impact. You got to check out clearimpact.com, the social sector hero book that Adam's written. um, Fascinating. It's very achievable, Adam. It's something that you can open up, read. It's in a PDF format, and it really it makes sense. I mean, sometimes we hear about these things and it's like, oh my God, that's such a heavy lift. I could never do that. But I found all of your 8 core strategies, they're very achievable. You're not going to do them all at once, but you can navigate through, this journey.
I didn't invent anything in my book. All I'm doing is trying to package it in a way that makes sense and is understandable, and
Yeah.
hopefully inspires folks to want to do better in what they do.
Yeah.
And
And with keys that they can do better. I think that's the thing. You use these tools and these keys and you will do better, right?
absolutely, I mean, even if you just pick one of the 8 core concepts and you're like, hey, I want to do better at
Yeah.
this, great. If I can inspire you to do 2, great. If you're doing all 8, I guarantee you're helping to improve the lives of the people you serve.
Yeah.
That's 100% guarantee.
I love it. Well, Adam, it sounds like I've got to let you go so you can pack your travel bags because you're going to be jaunting off to
Yeah.
some big trips here to talk more about your work, and congratulations on that. Yeah, really fun. We are going to have you back next month to be talking more about how you can be a social sector hero, and we'll revisit this award a little bit as well. But it's just been magical meeting you and learning about how you can help our sector on both sides of the desk, the funders and the recipients of that funding, to do better and to really achieve mission, vision, and value. Adam Lueking, CEO, Clear Impact. Check out clearimpact.com where you can learn more about Adam, his team, their work. They've been doing this for nearly 2 decades, so this is not just a new group. I feel, Adam, like there's so many new businesses because of this, but you've been tried and true. And so it's a great opportunity to learn about what Clear Impact's work is and how they help our sector.
And it's
Really
an
been
honor.
great.
And I will say it's an honor to be with you. So thank you again, and I'm excited for ways we can continue to partner.
Yeah, me too. I love a good reveal. So this will be fabulous.
You got it. Coming your way.
Okay. All right, Adam. Thanks so much. Hey, and another big shout out of gratitude to our partners. They include Bloomerang, American Nonprofit Academy, Staffing Boutique, Nonprofit Thought Leader, Fundraisers Friday, Your Part-Time Controller, Third Sector Company, and Clear Impact, where Adam joins us from. These are the folks that help us march through and towards our 1200th episode, which is just mind-boggling to me. And now in 5 years. So it's been pretty crazy. Hey, everybody, as we end each and every episode, we want to remind you to stay well so you can do well.